The moment Daniel Hawthorne burst through the hospital doors, the automatic glass panels trembled as if they sensed the storm brewing inside him. His face was red with fury, his designer suit wrinkled from pacing, and his voice shook as he barked at the front desk, "Where is she? Where is Emily?" But beneath the anger, beneath the sharpness of his tone, there was something else, fear. A fear he didn't want to acknowledge. A fear he had buried long ago, the day he walked out of the marriage he had taken for granted. He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to care. Not anymore. But when his assistant forwarded him a call saying Emily Walker is in the emergency ward, something inside him shattered. His anger gave him an excuse to rush here, anger at not being informed, anger that she still had people who could call him in a crisis, anger that she had moved on with someone else. But deep down, Daniel knew it wasn't anger that drove him here. It was the part of him he never managed to bury, the part that had once loved her fiercely. He marched toward the maternity wing, convinced he was ready for whatever he would find. He was wrong, because when he pushed open the door of room 314, he froze in place as if the world had slammed into him. Emily, his ex-wife, was lying on the delivery bed, drenched in sweat, clutching the rails as her face contorted with pain. Nurses swarmed around her. Machines beeped urgently. And beside her, holding her hand tightly with terror and love in his eyes, stood Adrian Cole, the young, charismatic CEO whose name had been plastered across business magazines for months. Adrian looked up first, stunned. Emily opened her eyes next, pain blurred but aware enough to flinch at Daniel's presence. The room went silent. Only the monitor continued its frantic beeping. Daniel's heart dropped, a heavy stone sinking with the realization that hit him harder than any business failure had ever done. She wasn't just pregnant. She was giving birth. 2 triplets. And none of them were his. The story of Daniel and Emily had once been the kind of love that made people believe in forever. High school sweethearts who defied odds, a simple girl from a small town and a boy who grew up with privilege but longed for the warmth her world gave him. When they married, Emily had believed they were unbreakable. But life at the top changed Daniel. The fortune he inherited came with chains, responsibilities, public scrutiny, ruthless business competitors, and the constant hunger to prove himself worthy of the Hawthorne legacy. His world grew louder, colder. Emily's gentle reminders to slow down turned into arguments. Her wish for a family became a conflict. Her tears became invisible to him, buried under emails and boardroom demands. And one day, when she told him she was leaving, Daniel didn't stop her. Not because he didn't love her, but because he thought love could wait until he fixed everything. By the time he realized she wasn't waiting, she had already begun healing somewhere else. With someone else. Back in the hospital room, Daniel struggled to breathe as memories collided with the present. What's happening? He managed to ask, his voice barely audible. Emily gritted her teeth as another contraction hit. Adrian shot Daniel a stern look, protective and firm. She's in labor, Adrian said. The babies are coming early. Triplets. Daniel swallowed hard. Emily turned her face away, gripping Adrian's hand tighter. Something twisted painfully in Daniel's chest. A nurse approached him gently. "Sir, if you're not immediate family, you may need to wait outside." "I'm her ex-husband," he said, feeling the words burn his tongue. The nurse hesitated. "Then please, give her space. She's under extreme stress." For the first time in years, Daniel felt powerless. Money meant nothing here. Influence meant nothing. He couldn't buy his place in that room, not anymore. He stepped back, leaning against the wall, watching everything unfold. Emily screamed in pain again, and Adrian soothed her, whispering encouragement, wiping her tears. Daniel's heart cracked open at the sight. This was everything Emily had once wished he would do for her. This was everything he failed to give. Hours passed in a blur. Daniel found himself sitting outside the delivery room, elbows on his knees, hands clasped, staring blankly at the floor tiles. Every cry from inside tightened his chest. Every silence made him fear the worst. He replayed every mistake, every missed opportunity, every selfish decision. It felt like the universe had brought him here to face the harsh reality. Emily had moved on, found someone who cherished her, someone who showed up. Someone he wasn't. When the doors finally swung open, Daniel jumped to his feet. A doctor stepped out, exhausted but smiling. "Mother and babies are safe," she said warmly. Daniel exhaled sharply, relief flooding him even though he knew he had no claim to that relief. But then the doctor added something unexpected. She's asking for you. His breath caught. For me. Yes, the doctor said. She wants to speak with you privately. The room was dim when Daniel stepped inside. Emily lay on the bed, pale but glowing with the softness of new motherhood. 3 tiny incubators stood nearby, each holding a fragile, beautiful life. Adrian wasn't there, he had stepped out to give her that moment. Emily looked at Daniel, tired eyes softening. You came, she whispered. Daniel swallowed. Of course I came. When I heard, I was terrified something happened to you. She nodded slowly, tears gathering. I don't hate you, Daniel. Those 4 words broke him. He moved closer, stopping halfway. Emily, I'm so sorry. For everything. I didn't realize what I had until you were gone. And I know it's too late, but you deserve to hear it. A single tear slid down her cheek. Thank you, she whispered. But we're past that. I'm happy now. Adrian, he's good to me. He's good to them. Daniel's gaze drifted to the incubators. Triplets. A family she had always dreamed of. Can I see them? He asked timidly. Emily nodded. Daniel approached the incubators, looking at the tiny lives sleeping peacefully. Something warm and painful unfurled in his chest. You're going to be a wonderful mother, he murmured. Emily smiled faintly. And you're not a bad man, Daniel. Just a man who lost himself. He closed his eyes, swallowing the ache. Promise me one thing, she said softly. He looked at her. Find the parts of yourself you abandoned. Don't spend your life running from what you feel. And when you love again, love fully. Love better. Daniel nodded, tears finally falling. I will. I promise. Adrian returned, thanking Daniel genuinely for being there. It surprised Daniel how effortlessly the 2 men shook hands, how natural it felt to let go instead of fight. That evening, Daniel left the hospital a changed man, not because he lost something, but because he finally faced the truth about who he had become. He stood in the parking lot, looking up at the night sky, feeling strangely peaceful. This wasn't the ending he imagined. But it was the beginning he needed. And as he walked away, he whispered a silent blessing for Emily's new family, and for his own chance to become someone better.